If you are a competitive golfer, regardless of age or ability level, I want to show you how to peak for your personal major and help you build a plan to achieve your golfing goals. I'm Brad Pluth, PGA teaching professional and coach at Twin Cities Orthopedic in Eden Prairie during the winter and Deer Run Golf Club in the summer. This is part of a monthly series describing how I coach golfers and what we focus on month by month. So here's what you'll need to get the most out of this training. Parents, watch this with your athletes. You'll both need something to write with and a blank piece of paper. We're going to plan some of your work this month and as you go through each of the following months. This is obviously November in Minnesota, and there's not quite snow on the ground yet, but it's coming, right? This should take about 30 minutes to 45 minutes to complete. So why periodization? Where is it used? Some of the best practices, and then applications. This is kind of the goal of my presentation here today, is to cover these 4 topics. I've been coaching golf to all ages and ability levels since 1998. Juniors starting out, golf schools, camps, private lessons, middle school, high school, college golfers, club golfers, professional golfers. I pretty much work with golfers that have a goal. Their goal may be to develop the skills to get out on the course, skills to play in a league, amateur tournaments, high school, college, and even professional golfers. I've been fortunate to work with a number of great coaches and teachers from all over the world. I've invested many days taking lessons from observing and attending seminars from some of the best instructors in the world. Some of my favorites have included Morton Hall, David Ledbetter, Henry Brunton, Greg Myers, Mike Bender, Brian Manzella, and some of the guys at UPI. So why periodization? So this is how I coach competitive athletes to lower their competitive scoring average and peak at the right time. So while this is a good time of year that you may put away your clubs, it's also the best time of year to make swing changes and develop speed. It's a great time to work on your fitness. So let's get a clear picture of what you need to do to achieve your goals. So here's the challenge that golfers face, and it's about improving their game. Most golfers think that it's a very linear path to develop, and in reality, that it's full of peaks and valleys, obstacles and challenges. There are times the game feels easy, and there's times that you'll want to quit. The key is moving forward and taking one step at a time. Here are the steps that we're going to take in building your program for competitive golfers. So this is, again, part of a 12-month package or 12-month season that I coach golfers through. And this is kind of a sample form for different ages and ability levels. So let me walk you through some of the things that I look for when training athletes. Here's a quick overview of breakdown of periodization. It's basically the daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, and annual planning to guide you to peak for your personal major. So it focuses on skills at different skills at different times of the year. Deciding the amount of work and type of work prescribed for an athlete is vital to understand the inverse relationship between intensity and volume. In November, intensity is usually low. We are out of season, but volume of practice on the technical and physical sides will be higher. This slide explains why taking one lesson really doesn't work. And when you're trying to compete, it's a process over time. So this is definitely in the preparatory period. And then springtime is that transition period. Summer is that competitive period. And then fall, again, is that transition period. So what is periodization, and what do you need to build, or how to build a team around your athlete to reach their potential? I think it all starts with a head coach, and obviously the player here is in the middle. They need probably a fitness trainer, and sometimes that head coach can play multiple roles. If If you've got a chiropractor, a recovery person, physical therapist, or somebody on your medical team to treat injuries, hopefully prevent injuries. Nutritionist, club fitter, emotional mental game management, biomechanics expert. So these are just some of the things that world-class athletes are doing, or coaches that they're pulling in to maximize their potential. So take a moment with your paper and write down all of the skills that you think you need to be planned to improve to achieve your goals. As a coach, this is the time of year that I look at technology and complete certifications. I just finished 2 body track certifications, swing catalyst certification, TrackMan certification. Been studying some of Scott Fawcett's on-course strategy. Been taking a lot of time to write some different policies and procedures for my academy. I've added a pressure mat, a Tomy putting system, and a launch monitor, and I'm always on the lookout for technology that will help my players. So if you'd like to sit down and have a cup of coffee, talk about your plans, I'd be happy to do that. We'll talk about ways to schedule that at the end of this webinar. So to me, here are the basic 4 skills that every golfer can improve. And that's the natural movement patterns of your golf swing, your scoring mindset, or what you think about before, during, after, and in between shots, on-course strategy, and purposeful practice. Let's dive in. Speaking of goals, what are some of the goals or targets that you are trying to achieve? Break 100, 90, 80, or old man par? I'll share with you in a download the goal-getting envision form I use to guide my players in assessing their games, and resources mentioned on this on a website page at the end of this video. So this is the overview of like a year-round training program and what we focus on. Let's look specifically into November. Here's a quick summary of the periodization based on train to play, which is that 8 to 12-year-old category, train to compete, that middle school, high school golfer, and then college prep. So you can download these here, and they'll be on the website as well. So types of training. So again, the technical parts of the swing, grip, posture, alignment, kind of identify your movement patterns, and then the scoring mindset and on-course coaching, kind of get a taste of what I think about when I'm developing programs here. I'm big into kind of more gaming and developing external focus or target awareness than I am internal feels. But again, this time of year is actually a good time to develop some drills and feels for your golf swing. I've been having a lot of success with the body track mat, identifying forces and pressure. It's been an interesting journey that I think will really help me elevate my players, both with speed, low point delivery, and overall consistency. So it's been a great tool to add. Again, training times, 60 to 90-minute sessions, I think, are fine. Again, if you can get in a few rounds, that is the best. So other considerations, kind of looking at your fitness workouts. If you do have a personal trainer, that is a good thing to have as a resource. And then tournament planning, usually that happens in March. Most of the tournament schedules, I know Hurricane Tours actually releasing their schedule a little bit earlier. AJGA might be, some of the national and regional events may be booking out now, but if you're playing local events, Junior PGA, US Kids, those will typically come out in the spring. An adult, the MGA events, the TwinCitiesGolf.com events, and those types of things will come out later in the spring. So we usually look at that in February and March and develop a calendar, a playing calendar at that time. So let's move on. So take a little deeper look into what I call the postseason, or kind of that October, November category. The technical parts of the swing, probably not going to do a whole lot this time of year. We do want to work on some, probably some of the body stuff and speed stuff. So Purposeful practice looks a little different, probably going to be a third in drills, probably more than about half time in games or internal fields. So this is the time of year that you want to do your swing changes and probably get more technically sound. Exercise is probably a little bit more important this time of year, and kind of the skills assessments probably good to do as a baseline in the beginning of the month, and then kind of work on it. It's probably not going to happen every week. It's just going to be kind of here's the plan, or assess and work on it a little bit. Practices, might be 4 to 8 times a month, depending on what you're trying to do. And if you're playing college golf, it's going to look a little different. This is the train to play. This is kind of the basic 8 to 12-year-old age range. Rounds per month may look a little different based on your goals. And then workouts are going to be pretty balanced as far as agility, balance, coordination, strength, and speed. And if you can get 1 or 2 tournaments a month in November, that would be fine. If you don't play in any, that's probably okay too. November, December is just not that, in Minnesota anyway, is not a big time to be playing unless you're going south, which maybe in December if you sneak away for Christmas and play in a tournament or something, that might be good, but not critical to your development. Sometimes it's a little hard to play in December after taking a little time off. But then equipment, again, not all that important this time of year. All the new stuff comes out in February or late January, early February, so it's better to do your fittings and that kind of stuff at that time. Here. So here's kind of what a sample day, indoor sample day practice would look like. So I'm looking at 9 skills. We got short putting. Again, that's usually inside of 10 feet, and then distance putting from 10 to 50 feet. We do a differential wedge game, so pick a different club. How far, or how's your distance control with different clubs? Some approach shot games, usually kind of think of that as a mid-iron. And then do like a +1, -1, so it works on your in-between shots or into the wind, downwind, trajectory control stuff. And then fairways, kind of think of a gate. So we've got gates for approach shots, gates for fairways, and then ball control drills, or really games, because they're external oriented activities. So can you push it, pull it, fade it, draw it, hit it high, hit it low, and hit it straight? Typically will work this time of year with like a 7-iron and a driver. You do those with those 2 clubs. So we do this at Twin Cities Orthopedic. Here's kind of a quick look inside of our facility. We've got a About Golf simulator, putting platform, a couple different hitting areas, some short game turf, and then some fitness equipment. So here's what a sample week would look like for our college prep program. So usually, 15 minutes of fitness, sometimes 30 minutes. They're taking a couple days off a week, usually Wednesday and Sunday. 15 minutes of skill development or assessments. Again, if you like on Mondays, we're typically big in assessments, and that may look like a Tommy putting assessment, a body track ground force assessment. How are they transferring their weight? How fast are they transferring their weight? Maybe some fitness assessments, med ball toss, vertical jump, overhead deep squat, just kind of making sure that their body is moving correctly. And then the technical training. So you can kind of see as you look through the calendar, each day there's a little bit of a different focus, and this is how we guide our golfers to achieve their goals. So when we do play in the simulator, I usually like to have what I call like an accountability scorecard. Are they going through their routine? So this is one of, I think, 29 different scorecards that we use. And if you'd like to download and try this scorecard, there's a video attached to this scorecard that you can download that'll provide here in a website upon the completion of this webinar. So the accountability scorecard is really good for helping you like go through your routine. 1, do you have a routine? 2, are you committed to the shot at hand? while this doesn't guarantee success, it at least puts you in position to be successful while playing, and it's something that's pretty easy to track. So SFT completions are, did you see it, feel it, and trust it, and then let it go, right? And then there's some other post round, what was good, what could be better, and what solutions do I need. Again, what solutions do I need is a popular question that I ask my athletes continuously, or what solution do you need, really, not what I need. But I think it's a good way of framing your work and your future work. And again, what gets measured gets improved. So this accountability scorecard is one of my favorites. So in our train to play, again, that's kind of our 8 to 12-year-old category, kind of the new intermediate golfer. Typically, we're seeing those students about once a week during the month, and they typically will focus a little bit on putting, whether that's distance control or short putts, wedging, some chipping games. We do some pitching games, and then speed development. Then we're always looking for full swing and balance, and then eliminating getting frustrated on the course. So we will do some playing lessons and put them in some awkward situations. I may do an alternate shot with them and intentionally put them in a tree or behind a tree or behind a rock, and see how they react, and talk about ways to shoot the lowest score. And sometimes it's not aiming at the pin, it's just aiming in the middle of the green. So, all right, quarterly planning for our high school train to compete, kind of some of our parent meeting notes. Look at some of the key performance indicators, which are putts per round, shots inside of 100 yards, shots outside of 100 yards. And we kind of break things up into putts. How many putts did you have? How many shots did you hit with your wedge? How many approach shots did you have? And how many tee shots? So those are kind of our 4 categories that we look at. And from there, we can build programs and improvement strategies or improvement programs based on those 4 skills. Emotional management and process focused. How are they doing on their routine? Are they going through the routine even after they hit a bad shot? Again, I like to watch them play and just put them in different situations. And again, we're trying to peak for most of our competitive juniors want to play in the state tournament in Minnesota, which is in June. So we've got 7 months to train. So what do we need to do now to put ourselves in position to play our best in June? So one of the things I really like and encourage my competitive golfers to do is write out their pre-shot routine. So if you'd like some videos, there's some provided here on that website that I will give you at the end of this program. So here's a sample yearly goals. So what can be measured that will actually move golfers toward their goal is things like lower their competitive scoring average by 5%. I think is a realistic goal. 3 to 5% every year adds up over time. Nothing too crazy. We've had gains of 10 and 20%, which is great, but I think 5%, especially for those elite levels, is a good benchmark and indicator. Can they increase their club head speed by 5 to 10 miles an hour using super speed sticks? Can they lower their total number of putts to 31, 32 if they're trying to break that 80 mark? If they're trying to shoot under par, it's probably going to be 30 putts or less. How many times can they commit to keeping track of their rounds? So again, they don't have to use the scorecards every time, but if they're just starting out, if we can get them to use it 50% of the time, that would be great. If they're playing high school golf, it needs to be probably around 75% of the time. If they're playing college golf, probably 9 out of 10 rounds need to keep track of stats so you know how to improve for your next round. So data doesn't lie, just need to get used to keeping track of some stats. And then lastly, increase their up and down percentage from whatever it is, 45% to 55%. You can get it up and down half the time, you're doing really well. What most people don't realize on tour, if you get it up and down 2 out of 3 times, you are world class, and that's about what they average on tour. So one of the fun things I learned from a caddy is the rule of 66. So in order to shoot 66, if you hit 2/3 of the fairways, 2/3 of the greens and make 2/3 of your putts, you shoot 66. So while that doesn't sound very hard, it's a bit challenging, as you know. So lately I found a few new tools and resources. The Voice Caddy launch monitor, I think, is $350 if you're looking for a basic launch monitor that'll give you distance and smash and club head speed. That's a great one. Flight Scope Mevo, I think it's $495, a little bit of a step up, gives you a few more parameters, and I think you can use it on a phone or an iPad a little bit better. I just invested in a Flight Scope Mevo Plus. Those were 2000. I think they're 6 to 8 weeks out right now as I speak, in the end of November 2020. And then Full Swing, I just saw this came out yesterday, I think. The Full Swing kit is pre-selling for, I think, $100 down, and it's a $4,000 launch monitor with 15 data points and golf courses. So if you want to check that out, just go to Full Swing, or just Google Full Swing kit pre-sale, and you can find information on that. And I just invested in a body track mat and then a Tony putting system. So some cool tools and resources there for you. Also a big believer in super speed in their training cycles. So, this is a good time of year if you're just starting out. Obviously, you'll start in level 1, kind of see a big jump pretty quick. Then level 2 tapers off, kind of plateaus a little bit. Level 3. So again, the more runway time that we can get between now and the start of the season in March for most of the high school golfers, the better you'll be. And there'll also be a link to super speed training sticks here in the website. So one of the things I've seen recently is kind of binge training. They'll train for 90 minutes once a week on the weekends, call it good. But I'd like to recommend that you try to do 15 minutes a day rather than 90 minutes once or twice a week. So I want to take a minute and talk about early specialization. So I believe that athletes develop playing multiple sports. I've got 4 kids of my own, and I always recommend between that 4 and 11-year-old age group that they play one team sport and one individual sport. So I've got basketball players, lacrosse players, I've got a bowler who plays a little soccer too, and they all play golf. A couple of them compete, a couple of them just play socially and have fun, and that's just fine. So here's some of the resources that I use to pull this presentation together. Let's take a screenshot of that, and then you can come back and reference this as well. So my invitation to you is there's no obligation strategy call, and if you'd like to work with me and lay out a 3, 6, 9, or even a 12-month program, you can call or text me at 952-401-4653. And we can work in person or remotely through my Coach Now app. And you can also go to the website and find a date and time. If you want to do it online, we can do it remotely or through a Skype call or a FaceTime call or whatever works. Here are some of the packages that I've created for my winter programs. Kind of basic package A, 2 private lessons a month, 2 small group sessions a month, $200. Package B is 4 small group lessons a month, 4 private lessons a month, and then package C is 4 basically weekly privates and then unlimited small groups, and there's some other assessments. Find these on that web page as well. Here's some of the other winter coaching options, or some small group coaching options that I have. Monday and Thursday, I coach at Twin Cities Orthopedic in Eden Prairie, 7:15 to 8:30, and then 8:45 to 10. And then Saturdays, 1:15 to 2:30 for adults, and juniors 9 to 10 on Saturdays. And then Train to Compete, we do Monday and Thursday as well in that earlier time. If you have a group or team that would like to train with us in the winter, feel free to reach out and we'll find some dates and times that work. So what's coming in December? I know we're getting close to December, and I'll try to make this one a little bit earlier in the year. I'm going to do a State of Junior Golf webinar some trends that I see, what's going on, some tournaments, updates, and some different things around the world of junior golf. I am also offering a special in November and December for $99 for a 1 hour lesson, and then a separate 1 hour playing lesson. You can do that in whatever sequence you'd like. Preference if you're an intermediate or advanced golfer, competitive golfers, to do the playing lesson first, then the 1 hour lesson after. I'd like to be able to see your skills and then help you develop a plan from there. So, and that's $99. Thanks for watching, and I hope to hear from you soon.